Hey there, I'm Sakali. I streamed a whole bunch of games doing some next best, and today we're going to be talking about everything that I rated 3 stars. So, fun fact, I actually already did this video, but I somehow managed to delete the audio, so we've got to do it again. This time I'm going to break into 2 parts because I have to record this much footage again. I'm just out. First up, we have another Crab's Treasure. This is a crab-based Souls game that on the surface is really good. However, if you dive a little bit deeper, I just can't resist these puns, oh my god, it does need a bit of work. For instance, in this tutorial, the enemies are really tough, but a lot of that isn't down to the enemies so much as down to the combat itself. Like, a lot of the hits don't really feel solid, they don't feel like they're hitting, and sometimes it's really hard to tell whether you've successfully blocked or not because things feel the same in essence. And then a big thing for me is when you're doing some big combo attacks, you make this sound, your character makes this little sound, and it sounds exactly the same as you being hit. Another part that was concerning was that during one of my resurrections, a lot of the gear around me, like the shells, didn't respawn, all of them. So I was left scrounging for a shield, and so that was real confusing. And then the next time I died, they were back. However, I have seen the devs going around on TikTok. They've already said that they're listening to a lot of the ideas that they got from Next Best, and I'm really excited to see where they go from here. Next up is Moss Fruit. I really liked the combat, the art style, and the characters of this game. Places that still need work for me are the movement and overall tactical map elements. For instance, you can get access to some different upgrades and chests, but sometimes they'll be all the way the other side in completely opposite direction to the enemies. And so you'll just spend so many turns just running the opposite direction to the fight, just to get some treasure. And if they were in amongst the enemies more, that would be more of a challenge to get them. Otherwise, all it does is just take time. But then for the movement, you can only move once in your turn, no matter seemingly if you have more movement left to give. When it seems like you should be able to interact with multiple things in your turn, you're just capped at that one thing, and that feels like a bit of a waste when it comes to a tactical strategy game to be locked in that spot. It's not the only game that would do it, but it's something that I'm definitely not a fan of. But as I said, the main combat is really smooth and really enjoyable. I hope we get more different types of characters to enjoy, and I want to see what kind of different abilities they all have. Next up we have Layla. This is a really charming puzzle game. I really liked the story of learning along her life as we go along the games. My main issue is that, especially in this one, she gets so sassy with you if you try to finish a puzzle quicker. Because as much as I don't want to interrupt her and the stories that she's telling, the little tidbits with each little bit that you're completing along the puzzle, I also want to finish the puzzles. So if a piece is obvious, you're just sat there, just holding, waiting for her to finish her dialogue before you can get on to the next piece. And sometimes that takes 30 seconds or so, and it adds up. It's frustrating. The gameplay and the story are on such a good path. I just need to be more accepting of people who want to finish the game quickly, but also not skip the story. Next up we have Gremlins. And I just want to give a disclaimer here that I think a lot of my issues with this game come down to a lot more of my playstyle and my interests versus the game actually having many things problematic with it. So first of all is with the shop. To get the coins to unlock more areas, it'll only let you sell certain things at a time, where I would very much more rather have the option to just get rid of anything I don't want in my inventory. I would also like to see more things like these dungeons that you can go in and explore to kind of get a break from the usual rinse and repeat from the overworld. However, I'm not sure how many of these we'll get more throughout the game because I only got to spend a short time with it through the demo. Then the final part that was a bit confusing for me was how much of the kind of upgrade progress was left up to chance of finding things around the world versus how much of it is pretty much entirely within your grasp, within upgrading things and collecting resources at your own little kind of home base. I know a lot of these things probably could have been found through more time through the demo, but just didn't have that opportunity with all the next best chaos. But still one to keep on your radar, it's just not quite there for me yet. Alright, come back for part 2 where we finish off the 3-star games.